Hi, everyone. This is Uncle Kevin. Welcome to my channel. And today I have the honor of interviewing Gail Gumenge from Old Mutual Corporate as we unpack a bit about Old Mutual Superfund and specifically about Superfund Easy to make members aware of its benefits and a certain process in terms of how to claim. So Gail, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for the invite. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining me and as we share and promote Old Mutual Superfund Easy and make members aware of the benefits and Old Mutual as a provider. Gail is Old Mutual Corporate Consultant Specialist, and I'd like Gail to tell us more about Old Mutual and Old Mutual Corporate.
Right. So thank you so much, Kevin. The name is Gail Gumenge. I am from Old Mutual Corporate. I'm a corporate specialist, so meaning specifically I specialize in providing expertise on pension and provident funds. And Old Mutual has got an umbrella fund, which we call Old Mutual Superfund. Mm.
Yeah, we know that Old Mutual is the oldest life insurance company in South Africa, dating back from the 1800s. And Old Mutual is one of the largest life insurance financial service group in South Africa. And it's well-known brand in South Africa. So let's jump into Superfund Easy. Can you just share with us, I believe you have some presentation slides prepared for this interview. Can you share with us about Superfund Easy in terms of its benefits, how members will benefit from being on Superfund Easy, as well as its costs?
So thank you so much for that, Kevin. I'm just going to try and share my screen quickly with the presentation. There we go.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so Old Mutual, Kevin has just introduced, is actually 176 years old, and in the month of May, it will be 177 years old.
Sure.
And within Old Mutual, we've got different product sets that we have, but specifically today, we would like to talk about the Old Mutual Superfund, and more specifically to Old Mutual Superfund Easy.
Yeah.
So on Old Mutual, we have got an umbrella fund, and this umbrella fund is managed by a board of trustees. And on that board of trustees, we've got participating employers. One of the participating employers obviously being Waging on the Superfund Easy offering that we are offering. Yeah. So without really wasting any time, I will just provide a brief overview and a bit of detail on the benefit structures on Superfund Easy. So Superfund Easy is a pre-packaged offering that we provide to employers and their members. These members are obviously then part of a provident fund solution that requires them to contribute then towards the fund, where they're able to save. And with those savings, they are also able to, when they are leaving the employer, at least have something that they can take away, or in the event that they should retire while working for the employer, the same could happen. So the benefit structure is customized. It is also a solution that requires an employer to have 80% of the members to join the fund, and employers would obviously be able to have internet access where they're able to access some of this information like benefit statements for the members and uploading of the premiums over to us at Old Mutual.
Yeah.
And so just some information then I mentioned about the benefit structures. So on the Superfund Easy, we have got benefits that are suiting members. They cover them on the event of the member dying while working for the employer. So group life cover literally then means that should the member die, it's a death benefit in simple, most easiest terms, that if someone that is under the age of 50, they would get 1.5 times the annual salary. Now, let me make an example when I talk about 1 times the annual salary. So if the person is earning 10,000 Rand a month, it means in simple terms that the annual salary for a year is 120,000.
Yes.
So what we would then be paying that person when they are dying while working for the employer is literally just taking that 120,000 plus another half. So it means that the person's benefit is 180,000. So should they die, the family members get that amount of money in the example that I've made. Same then goes to a lump sum disability benefit. Lump sum disability, the person becomes disabled while they are working for the employer. In the same example that I made now with a 10,000 Rand salary, and over a period of 1.5 times the person's annual salary, they would then get that. The cover is kept. So it means that we've got a ceiling to the cover to 652,500.
Okay.
Over and above that, should the person maybe not be permanently disabled, but they just sick, maybe say for 6 months, and they are still going to come back to the employer. We also have got what we call a temporary income protection. So the temporary income protection has a 1-month waiting period, but it pays an income to the people for an amount of 5 months. So if the person were to recover before that 5 months, they get that income. So the employer then in that event is not paying them the income, but the retirement fund itself is paying them the income of 80%. Then we also do have a family funeral benefit. This family funeral benefit doesn't only then cover the person that is working for the employer. It covers the member. We refer to the person working for the employer as the member, which is the main member in this instance. We then also do cover the spouse. The spouse could be someone that is legally married through home affairs, someone that is married through customary marriage, or a living partner, as long as they have necessary affidavits with the day. So should that person die, we provide an amount of 20,000 Rand. But over and above the main member and their spouse or partner, we also do cover kids. We don't have a maximum number of kids that we cover. So all kids over the age of 14 of the specific member, we would be able to cover them for 20,000, but kids younger than the age of 40, we cover them for an amount of 8,500 Rand. Last but not least, we also have what we call lifestyle cover. Some people would know it like a benefit that they call critical incident. So should a person then become this, get into a critical incident, maybe have a heart attack, paralysis, a loss of limb, hearing, or loss of hearing or sight, we are able to cover them for an amount of 15,000 Rand. I'm not quite sure if you do have any questions for me at this stage, Kevin, but that's a summary of what our benefits really entail when we talk about the risk benefits that cover the members.
Right. Yes. So Gail, on that one, I do have some questions for surrounding that. If you can just go back to that slide. I think some of the questions that the members will ask is, let's first say that the benefits, the range of benefits provided by Old Mutual Superfund Easy, even though it's like a packaged product, it's simple, but it does offer quite a nice range of benefits. If I count here, there are 5 benefits. And if I look at group life, I just want to ask the question, because members will say, you know, what if they die of any cause, would it get paid? Say, for example, if someone died of an accident, will it get paid? Or if someone died of an illness, maybe right now with COVID, if someone died of COVID, would that be paid?
Thank you so much for that question, Kevin. And sometimes we really assume that we've clarified it well enough. So what it really means, Kevin, the person can die of any cause, whether natural causes, whether it's an accident, and the times that we are finding ourselves in, like the pandemic, people would be covered for that. So it is not necessarily a benefit that only covers the person if something happens to them while they're at work. It could be due to an illness, it could be due to natural causes. So it could cover them for everything and anything. It's almost like a sort of insurance that the employer provides to ensure that should something happen to this person, that they are able to provide a benefit to the family.
Okay, so based on your answer, I just want to make it clear that even if a person dies after work hours, and then maybe due to accident or something happened, and then he maybe had a stroke, and passed away outside of working hours, but then that Old Mutual will still pay the person the benefits.
That is very much correct. The accident doesn't have to be work related. It is cover that can cover them from even outside of the working hours.
Okay. Let's just go to temporary income protection. So here you say 80% of the income. So going back to your example of saying someone earning 10,000 Rand a month, okay? So 80% will be 8,000 Rand. So does that mean that if a person is sick or disabled and for a period of time and still unable to work, then Old Mutual is going to pay that person 8,000 Rand per month to compensate him for the loss of income until he recovers or until he reaches retirement age.
That is so correct. That is so correct. So, but the only difference is this specific benefit only covers them for 6 months. So this one is not up until retirement. This one is a temporary one.
Okay,
only
so
covers them for 6 months. But if they were to be sick and very drastically sick after that 6 months, then the lump sum disability one kicks in. So then that lump sum will be paid out together with the retirement savings. But we're going to get to the retirement savings now on the following slide. Okay.
So, so what's the waiting period on the temporary income?
Perfect. So the waiting period, the benefit is for 6 months. The waiting period is 1 month. And in that waiting period, it allows the assessors and the underwriters on the scheme to look at the medical reports that the doctors would have provided to ensure that this is obviously an actual and factual disability claim. Once that period is passed and the disability benefit is approved, then the benefit kicks in for a period of 5 months. And people can claim. So you can claim for different illnesses as long as you are temporarily disabled. In every 24 months, you are able to put in another claim. So let's say, for an example, someone was very sick now and they were off ill for a, let's say, like an 8-week period or 10-week period. This year, in the following 2024, if they were to get sick from something else, they are again able to claim from the temporary disability benefit because they would have recovered and come back to work.
All right. I see. That's a good benefit to have. Gail, I just want to use an example so that member can understand how this kind of a disability benefit can kick in. Okay, so they say, for example, that a person with 10,000 Rand salary or wage per month got sick and unable to work. After a 1 month period, that person is still not able to work. Then Old Mutual will start to pay this person 8,000 Rand per month. Okay. Then for 5 months, okay. Then after 6 months, he's still unable to work and it's determined that he's actually permanently disabled. Then that lump sum disability will kick in, and then pay the person, which is 120,000 Rand, his annual salary. Let's assume that member is 40 years old, so he's under age 50. So according to this table, is 1.5 times annual salary, which means 180,000 Rand will be paid to him. So after the initial temporary income disability, if he's still not able to work and is determined is permanent condition, then Old Mutual is going to pay that person 180,000 Rand out of the lump sum disability. Is that right?
That is correct. So when the person is then permanently disabled and he can't now work after we've paid them that income for that 5 month period, the lump sum disability kicks in. And in the example that we've made for someone that earns 10,000 Rand, his temporary income would have been 8,000 Rand a month. And then when that 8,000 Rand a month period stops and the person still can't come back, the lump sum amount would be 180,000. But they will also then, as I said, be able to claim if they want to withdraw their retirement savings because they'll be leaving the employer. Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, let's talk about family funeral benefits, okay? Because that obviously in our country, funeral cover is very important, and many people maybe they individually have their funeral cover, but also very nicely through Superfund Easy, it does have this very nice funeral benefit, which is 20,000 Rand. I just want to check that does it cover more than one spouse? So if in our country, some people may have 2 spouses and etc. So are 2 spouses covered? How many spouses can be covered?
All right. So Kevin, yeah, I really do fully understand the South Africa that you live in that allows a lot of polygamy. So we are able to cover more than one spouse. There is no limit in the number of spouses, but what Old Mutual rule says, it says we can only pay one spouse, one death claim spouse per year. So in a calendar year, we are only able to pay one spouse, but we do not limit the number of spouses that the person can have.
Okay.
So just a joke. Please don't kill them for 20,000 rand.
Yeah, no, we heard some terrible news about someone, some cop, ex-cop who killed her family to claim on insurance, which is very sickening. But I think the benefits are there to protect for the family and for the loved ones. It's not really to enrich oneself. Okay, then in terms of funeral, because also the situation in our country, we can have many kids, etc. So when a member is on the scheme, do they actually need to update the information in terms of their spouses and children, so that Old Mutual knows who are their spouses, who are their children, so that in the event of a claim or a funeral, there will not be any dispute, or you will require certain documentation at the death stage or the claim stage in order to verify a spouse or a dead child?
Okay. So thanks for that question, Kevin. So within the umbrella space, we don't ask upfront for the information. The information that we have on the fund is that of the main member.
Right.
The only other time that we have other information is when they provide us with a beneficiary nomination in the event of death that they are going to claim. So when the main member is done. But when it comes to the family funeral benefits for the spouse, it is only at the time of death that Old Mutual would need verification to showcase that this person was definitely a spouse or this person is claiming for a child. Most of the time, when it is the home affairs or like the legal marriage through home affairs, it would then be a copy of the death certificate and then obviously the proof of the banking details of the main member that is working obviously for the employer. In the event of the kids, it would then be the death certificate also again, and we then obviously also are provided with in the spouse's instance, it's the copy of the ID, and in the child's instance, it's the birth certificate that's required. So we don't ask for that upfront. In the event where there are differences of surnames, all Old Mutual would ask for then additional is also to say that we would then require an affidavit that was done in front of the Commission of Oath to verify the relationship between the member and the spouse or the child.
Okay. No, great for answering the questions. And then lastly, about the lifestyle cover, which some people might call it dread disease or severe illness benefit. That's not a big amount, but 15,000 Rand is more than nothing. So it's good to have something to protect the member when they suffer some kind of severe illness, like you listed here, heart attack, stroke, cancer. Cancer can happen to anyone at any age, even like young age in the 20s or 30s. So this is a valuable benefit. And you also mentioned here like loss of limbs, especially member working in a factory, maybe they're working with machinery, some accident happen or things like that. And would that cover the loss of limb? They say, for example, due to accident at work, the limb is severed. Or maybe the hearing or eyesight, would that be covered under the lifestyle cover?
Yes. So if the person loses, let's say one hand, touch wood, we don't hope people that happens to people, or maybe one foot. So a loss of limb talks about those specifics, and then in the event of maybe something that damages to the ear and the person now can't hear. Or the loss of sight, like the person's eye. So it would cover then for that specific event. For each event, it covers 15,000 Rand.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a good benefit to have. All right, Gail, these are my questions. Please continue.
All right. So the pre-existing conditions and self-suicide, I mean, we've been over the scheme for a year already, Kevin.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm really going to be talking about that because the members have been on the scheme over a period of 12 months already.
Yeah. Okay. Gail, I just want to understand. So even if a member commits suicide, the scheme will pay out?
The scheme will definitely pay out even if the member commits suicide.
Okay, so I don't wish for any member to do that. It's nice to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so those benefits that I've just explained now, the contribution on the fund, full contribution is 8.5%.
Right.
But from that 8.5%, actually almost like only 2% and a little bit less than 2% because it's 1.98% covers for all of the benefits that we've just mentioned.
Okay, right.
Then the other 0.8% then covers what we would call the expenses of the fund, the administration cost of the fund, the running of the fund by the administrator, and obviously the consulting fee by by you. Yes, that's right, Kevin. But the majority of the money, 5.713%, goes towards retirement savings.
Okay.
So when the member is leaving the employer, all of the contributions that they've accumulated over the years, they are able to decide what they want to do with the money. Do they want to reinvest? Do they want to go to a next employer with it? And obviously when it's retirement time, do they want to purchase themselves some sort of an income? But the bulk of the money of that 8.5% goes towards the retirement savings. Members are also allowed to do voluntary contributions. And in the voluntary contributions, it literally just means that whatever the member then puts in there as an additional voluntary contribution goes straight towards the retirement savings. So all of those costs that I've just mentioned now at the top, like the risk, benefits, and expenses, are not applicable to the voluntary contributions.
Right. Okay. I just want to understand about the voluntary contribution. So what's the minimum a member can contribute per month into that AVC?
So there is no minimum contribution. There is only a maximum, Kevin. The maximum is 27.5% of the person's income, according to tax laws, or the maximum of 350,000 in a calendar year, because that is what they are able to claim back. So they are able to contribute as much as 27.5% of their salary into the voluntary contributions.
Okay. So you said,
and they get a tax deductibility on that, meaning whatever they are contributing, and even the contribution that the employer is contributing for them, if they are doing tax returns, they are able to claim that back. If they are not doing tax returns, at the time when they leave the employer, when they go on retirement, they get their tax benefit back from SARS.
Okay. So what you mean here is that even if a member just want to put in 50 Rand or 100 Rand a month as additional contribution, Old Mutual would allow that.
That is correct. That is correct.
Wow. That's really nothing, you know. But I think any little bit, 50 Rand or 100 Rand additional saving counts, you know, for the long term.
It helps to boost the retirement savings.
Yeah, no, that's an important tip. I just want to go back to the costs because again, I want to unpack for member. So going back to that simple example of a member earning 10,000 Rand a month, okay, because I think it's an easy number to work with. So 8.5% will equate to 850 Rand. So that means 850 Rand is deducted or contributed into his provident fund. Obviously, it's a member and the employer contribution all included. It's 8.5%. And out of that 850 Rand, 198 Rand is used to provide for all these wonderful benefits package. And then the 80 Rand, 70 cents goes into the cost, the expenses, administration, etc., and the consultant fees. And then the 571 Rand goes into that member's retirement savings account. Is that correct?
That is very, very much correct, Kevin. Very spot on. So it just shows that a majority of the money goes towards the savings, which is the pool that they have then to carry. and use towards their savings when they are leaving the employer one day.
Right. Okay. No, that's good to know. Okay, let's move on.
So there are no medical underwriting requirements. All of these benefits the members get. They don't need to go for any blood tests or anything. And the members also, depending on when or how they are leaving the employer. In the event of the member leaving the employer due to resignation, or like touch wood, we hope no one will be fired, but they are fired also when they are leaving the employer, they are able to take their monies and they are able to go and reinvest at another employer. So there is a transfer to another employer, or they are able to say that, okay, fine, I don't actually have another job. I want to cash my money in. And then there's obviously tax implications because there's an application that goes to SARS. But if the members also leave and they go and join another insurer. So let's say they decide now we no longer want to be part of Old Mutual Superfund, but maybe we want to go to Momentum. The transfer that is permitted is called a Section 14 transfer.
Right. Okay. Gail, just help members and me here. So obviously that if what kind of amount would a transferring fund accept? So they say, for example, the member only accumulates a few thousand rand, and he moves to a new employer with another provident fund. So then, would a new provident fund accept his few thousand rand from Old Mutual Superfund Easy into the new provident fund? Would normally would a transferring fund have some kind of minimum that they will accept?
Okay, so thanks for that question, Kevin. So with transferring into any fund, because it's not your recurring contribution, if the member is transferring to the other employer, the only thing that they need to adhere to there that has a requirement and a minimum is only the contributions of that specific fund. So whatever the new employer will be deducting from their monthly. But any lump sum amount that the member has accumulated is transferred as is. What they do apply for is a tax directive, but with a transfer, there is no tax deduction for a member because the member is ensuring that he's transferring his money so that he can have more money towards his savings one day when he retires.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about investment. How is now they have that money going into their retirement savings account? How is the money invested?
Okay. So how the money is invested, Kevin, is invested in what we call our trustee choice. And our trustee choice solution is one of the flagship products that Old Mutual has under the Old Mutual Superfund umbrella fund. And it is called the Absolute Stable Growth Portfolios. In short, we normally call it AGP, but the full word is the Absolute Stable Growth Portfolios.
Right.
The returns that are targeted there is CPI, which means it's inflation, plus 5.5% over a 3-year period. So the returns on there are aimed to be that. But we also do know that there are markets involved. So let's say in the worst case scenario, when the markets do crash, this portfolio provides the members an 80% guarantee. So let's go back on that 571 rand we were talking about earlier on. So 80%, should all else fails and the markets do so bad, 80% of that 571 would be just over 400 rand, would be guaranteed. So even in the worst case scenario, whatever the members contributing, his money is almost like still secure. They've got the guarantee of the 80%. So their money would never be less than 80% of their value at any given time when they are leaving, even when the markets are doing bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's good to know this investment has some guarantee or protection on the downside if market goes south. And also that I think that the target return, I just also want to unpack for members. Let's say, for example, CPI is 5%. And so 5% plus 5.5% is 10.5%. So with this portfolio, Old Mutual is aiming to achieve that 10.5% return, not in 1 year, but over a 3-year period. So over the long term, the members need to look at that. That's where Old Mutual its fund manager is striving to achieve over a longer term period.
That's very much correct, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay.
That is very much correct.
Right. And how has, okay, this, yeah, carry on. Yeah.
So I think you want to go to the investment return. So I've got an example.
Yes. I think that members would like to know how the fund has been doing, if they've been putting the money every month, how has that been doing over maybe the short term, 1 year, 3, 5 years? If you can answer that question to us.
So thanks so much for that question, Kevin. And I mean, that's the most important thing. So I didn't specifically just provide the 3-year term of the performance, but I provided the longs that we normally provide is over a 10-year period.
Wow, okay.
So over a 10-year period, you then see that we are able to project that we have at least achieved the 10.5%, because this one is the Old Mutual absolute stable growth portfolio that we spoke about. Right. And you can see that line over there, the blue line is where CPI is, and you can literally see that we've performed way over CPI in that green bar that we have over there, and it's literally almost like 10.5%. So over a 10-year period, I can comfortably say that the investment portfolio have at least matched what we are promising the member. Okay,
that's great. And so over the long term, it has done well for investors and members. What about in the short term? How is done in the last year?
So in a short term, Kevin, and I didn't include that slide here, but I could include it when I'm sending it to you. Over a 3-year period, we've got 6.6%, which is still over the markets were at some stage very bad. We all know, but we are still at least we are above inflation.
Okay, all right. So the message here is that,
I'll include the 3-year and the 5-year returns for you also when I'm sending the slide.
Yeah. Okay, that would be appreciated. Okay, so that the members can be comforted that Old Mutual is managing this money for the benefits of all members. I believe that there are, if not 1 million members, there's hundreds of thousands of members investing in this portfolio, and Old Mutual does take great care and with expertise in managing this portfolio to achieve the long-term return, and with a protection on the downside as well. So yeah, even I also have my own money invested in this portfolio. That's great. Okay, so I think the next one is about, let's just talk about Old Mutual, how members can access the information. So now here you're talking about the payroll claims. Yeah, let's talk about it, because from the employer, they need to do the monthly debit and then pay over to Old Mutual. I think that members also want to understand that actually money is paid over to Old Mutual and not just like being stolen, if that's a word, by the employer. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct, Kevin. So the contributions are paid over by excess that is granted to the employer. It's the payroll process. So the deductions that are taken from the members and what the employer is contributing are all put together. They are put in an Excel spreadsheet, and that information is loaded onto Old Mutual system on a monthly basis. At the same time, then when the members, in the event of them leaving the employer, we also have what the e-claims process. So in that e-claims process, what literally then happens there is to say that the member will then be exited from the payroll file, and when they're wanting to claim, they go into an e-claims process after they are exited, and that pre-populates all of the information that Old Mutual had. The only thing that the member would then also still need to complete and sign would then be what options they want to take when they are leaving the employer.
Right. Okay.
So members are able then, if there are any outstanding information when they are claiming, they're able to contact the member call center.
No.
And members are obviously also able to speak to you as the intermediary, or members are able to speak to the employer, the contact person that is dealing with a claim.
Yeah, I think the reality is that with members, some of them, they work in factory setting, and they may not have access to your email and internet, during work hours. Even sometimes, depending on where they live, they even have challenge, like access internet at home. So I think that giving them all these channels, it certainly will help in terms of helping them to claim, whether through the employer or the intermediary like us, or they can contact Old Mutual directly.
So Kevin, and just to add on to how do we communicate with members? So we give members an annual benefit statement yearly, but over and above that, this is the number that is shared with the members where they are able to call in and speak in any of the official languages that we have in South Africa. The employer web, we mentioned, the intermediary web, but members also, for those that, let's even say they don't have a computer to go onto, but they are able to go onto the cell phone on WhatsApp. And there they can also, so we've got the WhatsApp capabilities also, where the members are able to go in, and they can also go onto the Old Mutual app. They can download the Old Mutual app, because everyone has got cell phones with internet these days. They can download the Old Mutual app also there, and on there they're able to see their retirement savings. They're able to see all of these risk benefits that we spoke about, but also if they have policies in the individual name, they are able to see that information on there.
Wow, I think the technology and all the apps have come a long way, to provide this all the information at members' fingertip. And I really like Old Mutual providing like omni-channel, so many different channels of communication. And I really love your WhatsApp number. So I will ask all the members to actually WhatsApp Old Mutual. So I actually like to find out if a member WhatsApp Old Mutual on this 0860 933 333 number, what kind of information do they need to provide? Do they need to provide a name and the ID number? And what do they want in order to engage Old Mutual using WhatsApp?
That is spot on, Kevin. So they're almost like similar to what they would have done at the call center. And they need to verify themselves. They need to verify themselves to Old Mutual that I'm Gail. And then the next question will come, what's your surname? I will say my surname is Gumenge. What is your ID number? Then I provide them with my ID number. And then when that information is on there, pulls up my profile, then it asks me, how can we help you? Then I press, I would like a member benefit statement. So the options will be there. Press the option, and my member benefit statement is automatically WhatsApp back to me. So I don't need to have an email address. The member benefit statement is sent to me via WhatsApp also. And then I only download, and I'm able to see what my value is on the fund.
So Gail, you gave me the magical phrase here. It's like when they're on WhatsApp, when they want to get a member statement, the phrase they need to type in is, I would like a member statement, and they send it one by WhatsApp. And
no, but it's actually even written. It's already even written there. They just choose the option.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
They just choose the option.
Okay, excellent. Yes.
If they had a claim and they want to inquire in the claim, they can also do the inquiry right on there.
Wow, I love this this WhatsApp channel. I'm going to get all the members to use this. Okay, what's next?
Members are also able to bring in beneficiary nomination forms that they provide to the employer. They are also able to track obviously the retirement saving claims if they were leaving that I mentioned, but we also still provide them with a hard copy of the annual member benefit statement on an annual basis.
Okay, no, that's great.
So I think what is left, Kevin, is just for me to summarize the value added services, and I think you still have got one or two questions for me.
Right. Yeah.
So we also have got our financial wellbeing program where we are training the members. We can train the members, and that we can arrange. We call them our FWP team. They are able to come teach members, educate them anything with regards to their finances, not only the retirement fund, teach them about how to save, teach them about what options they need to take when they are leaving the employer, and obviously guiding them to see that always speak to your financial advisor. Then for the employer, we've got HR 911. HR 911 helps the employer for those times when the employer needs to be doing the claims processes, especially when it comes to disability claims, for them to understand, because that's a difficult process.
Right.
Should a member die on the cash for loved ones, should the member die while in receipt of that, remember we spoke about the temporary income disability benefit?
Yeah.
So they are a disability claimant and they're still working for the employer at their time because they haven't left, it's just temporary disability. So whether it's temporary disability or whether it was the other permanent disability that's not on this benefit, they've got something, should they die while they are in receipt of that benefit, we've got something that we call the cash for loved ones. So the cash for loved ones pay them an amount of 10,000 Rand to the beneficiaries of the member in the event that they die and they were still in receipt of that income protection benefit.
Oh, wow.
Then we also have got the Old Mutual money account and the Old Mutual rewards, and what the Old Mutual rewards really mean. Members are able to register, whether on their cell phones or on their computers if they had computers, but here we are encouraging members to understand their finances, and by virtue of them being, once they've registered, by virtue of them being a Superfund member, they are also able to get rewards. So members are rewarded to understand their financial savings. And this is open to all South Africans, not only to Superfund members, not only to someone with an Old Mutual policy. Similar to the FWP, the Financial Wellbeing Program, we provide that support to any employer, to any company out there. We are just equipping people to understand, and they are rewarded to understand their financial circumstances.
Sure. Wow. Gail, thanks very much for the quick overview. Gail, I just want to, just for completeness sake, let's say, what if there's a death or disability that took place? How do member or the family go about claim? Can you just walk us through the steps again?
All right. So in the event of death, I'm going to start with one benefit. In the event of death, the family members obviously report that death with the employer.
Right.
The employer then gets the necessary documentation from the members of the family. They go look at the beneficiary nomination form that was completed by the member. We spoke just earlier on briefly about the beneficiary nomination form. There, that beneficiary nomination form gives the trustees of the fund. Remember, I said there's a board of trustees on the Old Mutual Superfund umbrella fund. It gives them an indication of what the last wishes were of the member. The employer on their side would need to exit that member. So what that really means by exiting the member, it's notifying Old Mutual that there's someone that has died, and now we need to get the necessary paperwork done.
Right.
The necessary paperwork is then completed. Within 48 hours, it will pay out the 20,000 Rand family funeral benefit that we spoke about earlier on.
Yeah.
The other 180,000 Rand in the example of that person earning 10,000 Rand. The board of trustees look at the beneficiary nomination form, and they are guided by the last wishes of the member, but they will also make sure that they do look at what we call Section 37C of the Pension Funds Act. They will look after all of the financial dependents of the specific member. Yes. Okay. So that is how we claim for a death claim.
Right. I always want to use an example to explain this for members. So even if a member, say a member is he's got a wife, okay, with 2 children, okay, but on the side he's got a girlfriend, okay, and he puts his girlfriend as a beneficiary on the beneficiary nomination form, and he didn't even mention about wife and the children on the beneficiary nomination form or dependents. So then afterwards, should he pass away, then the trustees of the fund, they will actually have to find out who are the financial dependents. And if the trustee find out they are wife and the 2 children, and the children are still young, and So maybe the trustee will actually make a decision to say all the money goes to the wife and the 2 children and nothing goes to the girlfriend. Is that what could happen?
That is definitely correct. They actually go and do a proper investigation and they interview people. So they interview family members.
Yes.
They go and interview friends that were at work, try and find out, are there no other people that were financially dependent, especially a wife or kids and things like that.
Right.
So Old Mutual has got people in the death claims department that follows through that process.
Okay.
It's not done by the employer or by you as a consultant.
Right. Okay. I think it's good to make sure we look after the family and the people who are really in need, depending on the member. Okay. Then let's move to disability.
So disability, the person would most of the time, you'll find that the person was off sick for a certain period of time.
Right.
And sometimes employers get, I want to say, the awakening when the person's sick leave is up.
Yeah.
So when the person's sick leave is up, most of the time you'll find that the employer would ask, are there any doctor's reports? And that is where the HR 911 support to the employer comes, because they would be able to guide the employers to what are the requirements. Similar would happen. We get an indication the person is now not removed from the payroll fund. We get an indication that there might be a disability claim. Now that gives Old Mutual that we now need to start asking for certain forms from the employer. The person is still alive, but he's obviously not able to work. And then the doctor's reports then kick in. So Old Mutual would ask for the doctor's reports to support the information that we've received from the employer, and the underwriting team and the assessors sit to look at, is this claim a valid claim? And once that claim is approved, obviously then that income protection benefit, the example of the 8,000 Rand a month, if a person earns 10,000 Rand, then that starts kicking in after the waiting period. So that waiting period allows for all of the forms to be completed and for the medical reports and stuff to be received from the doctors. And in the event, obviously, of this person now has exceeded the 5-month payment after the 1-month waiting period, they would then need to apply for permanent disability, and permanent disability means that they will get the lump sum, and then they are also able to claim all of the retirement savings. And obviously the relationship between them and the employer and the fund then ends with permanent disability. Okay.
All right. Then thanks very much. I think that what you say means that disability claim is a lot more involved or complicated. It's a lot more requirements compared to just a maybe simple death claim. Then the next question is that when can a member take money out of the fund? Because, you know, unfortunately in South Africa, even though I, as a financial advisor or consultant, always like members and clients to save as much as possible. But the reality is that, you know, there's a huge high unemployment rates and people, they struggle to live from month to month. And members, from time to time, they want to say, okay, I don't have money. Can I just take money out of the provident fund? Under which circumstances can a member take money out of the provident fund?
Thanks for that question, Kevin. So the only time that members are allowed to take money from the provident fund is due to resignation. Okay. The person has resigned. Yeah. Due to retrenchment. Okay. Something has happened at the employer and the employer is no longer able to afford to have the specific group of people on the fund. Yeah. The other instance, Kevin, is then in the event of disability, which I've just mentioned earlier on, when they are permanently disabled, and in the event of death. The only other option that members, while they are working for the employer, Kevin, and obviously on that one, I always also say touch wood, and it's in the event of a divorce. So the divorce happens, a court order says a pension or provident fund, some of the monies based on that court order now need to be paid to the previous spouse. That is the only other instance that members are able to access their retirement fund money.
Yeah, I think that the provident fund is designed for long-term savings for retirement. So yeah, I think it's designed to protect that money from the members so that you can't just dip into the money at any time. Okay. Then Gail, I think the last question or comment is some of the members, they also belong to NUMSA. And you know NUMSA and there are many trade unions out there. And some members, they say to me, they also belong to NUMSA, and NUMSA's got this NUMSA member funeral benefit. And their question to me is why don't they just join NUMSA, take up this funeral benefit and cancel the Old Mutual benefits? But my initial comment, which you're welcome to elaborate, is that having listened to your presentation and the benefits offered by Old Mutual Superfund Easy, it's got so many 5 risk benefits types and the retirement fund contribution and benefits. So there are 6 benefits already, okay? And plus, just now you talk about the value add service and things like that. So there's so much offered by the Old Mutual Superfund Easy as a scheme and as a package. And compared to a NUMSA member funeral benefit, I feel the comparison is kind of a, if I think about Old Mutual Superfund is like a Toyota Corolla. Okay, it's not an expensive car, but it's a nice car to have. Then the NUMSA member funeral benefit is like a bicycle. You know, it's not the same thing. It won't go the same speed. It doesn't have as many features, and it can't do as much as a Toyota Corolla can do. Is that, do you agree with my kind of analogy?
So I definitely do agree with your analogy, Kevin, because what we are providing here to the members is a full package. They are provided an opportunity to save. They are provided some sort of security should they die, with a lump sum benefit that is linked to an annual salary and way more than the annual salary, 1.5 times the annual salary if they're younger than 50. We also provide them with disability benefits for temporary time and also for permanent disability. Then they also have got the critical incident benefit that they do have. But over and above that, we've got the family funeral benefit that doesn't only cover them, covers them and the immediate family. So if you look at the total of all of the benefits versus only a funeral benefit, it's a no-brainer that there is no real comparison to remain.
Sure. So I think that if I add all these benefits, you know, on the face value and that, you assuming again a member with 10,000 Rand salary, then if I add all these up, it's probably the total value of benefits is like 400 to 500,000 Rand compared to a funeral benefit, maybe only give you like 20, 30,000 Rand. It's just the comparisons, the difference is too big. And so any members, they should rather have, definitely they need to continue with the Old Mutual Superfund Easy membership and the contribution because it gives them a lot more. And if they want to kind of have something more, if they want to just have additional funeral, then sure, they can take up the NUMSA member funeral benefit, but they mustn't sacrifice Old Mutual Superfund Easy, such rich benefits for just funeral benefits.
You are very spot on, Kevin. You can't begin to compare the two. The one is a comprehensive benefit and the one is just one small benefit that covers one incident versus the other one that covers a few incidents that could happen to a person's life over the time spent that they're working for an employer.
Right. Gail, thanks very much for your time and your explanation. You are really an expert on Old Mutual Corporate and Superfund Easy. And do you have any final remarks?
So any final remarks, Kevin, that I have is to say that it is very important for members to save towards the retirement funding. The government is out there. Yes, we are not still there yet, but they are wanting to implement something that's similar to a national savings account, where it will enforce employers at some stage of the person's lifespan for each employer to participate to end retirement fund solution for the employees. So I would never advise or recommend for any person to really stop their retirement fund contributions, because ultimately we all one day want to retire comfortably and not only have to wait to get a SASSA grant at the end of the day.
Yeah, you don't want to stand in the queue for hours and maybe you get something, maybe you don't get something, so yeah, it's important to have a very good solution like Old Mutual corporate Superfund Easy to look after members and family. Gail, thanks very much for your time, and until next time, goodbye.
Thanks, Kevin. Do keep well. All the best to the members.
Yes. Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like this episode and share it with your friends.